Greetings, all you Jacks and Janets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's the Power Index Power Ranking time, and like I promised you, you are getting a special treat today. We have Laskers, we have Gingy's top 10, so we'll bring them into the fold after we get through your Donk Nation purely statistical Power Index. So let's start at the bottom. You got Houston falling down to the bottom spot. It's just not looking good for them recently. I mean, Mills isn't getting the job done. Miami falls to 31, is just losing to Jacksonville and London. Ugh. The Jaguars jumping up finally out of that bottom spot. They're moving up to number 30. They still don't have a win in forever, it seems, in the U.S., but ended that 20-game losing streak over there in Jacksonville. You got Detroit coming in at 29. I mean, the tough luck team. You got the Giants at 28. What can you say here? I mean, did anyone really think Daniel Jones was a top 10 quarterback? Got the Jets moving up to 27, Washington at 26, a couple teams with really nothing going on. Atlanta on a bye, moves up a spot going up to 25. You got Philly falling down to 24. New England falling down to 23, although they've played a lot of teams really, really tough. I mean, that's a team that maybe at the end of the year with a rookie quarterback could get going. Seattle, after the loss to Pittsburgh, moves down to 22, and then rounding out this group, you have San Francisco and Indy at 21 and 20. Both teams that have weird starts, quarterbacks getting acclimated, and who knows, maybe they'll move up, maybe they'll move down. They're two teams that you can watch. Then let's go 19 through 15 here. You got a group of teams that could go either way. You got some teams that overperformed and some that are starting to maybe get it together. That includes Chicago after a tough loss to Green Bay, Pittsburgh after a win against Seattle, moving up, Kansas City moving up after their win. You got Cleveland dropping down after, Baker getting hurt. Them losing all their running backs. Not looking good for them. And you got Denver and Carolina, who still are a little bit up here above those other teams because of the schedule they played was a little easy, so their stats are a little better than maybe they will be later in the year. But this is a group of mid-tier teams that moving up, moving down, the 500 teams, where are they going to go? And that gets you all the way up to 14. I guess we'll go to 32 because that includes Minnesota, another team that's right in that 500 group. And interesting look for the Steelers as we get to play them later on. Then we get to the fun teams. 12 and 11, you have the Tennessee Titans, who just came off a big win against Buffalo and are definitely trending up. And you have the LA Chargers, who are coming off an embarrassing loss to Baltimore and are moving down. I mean, they're the biggest dropper of the week, losing 7 spots. Then you go up, we get to our top 10. Let's do this. At number 10, you have your Las Vegas Raiders. Losing Gruden hasn't really affected them. Looking pretty good. You have your Cincinnati Bengals. Can Joe Burrow keep this team going, and can that defense keep playing up? That's the real questions. We actually have a tie for the 7 and 8 spot. That's Green Bay and New Orleans. New Orleans, can Jameis not turn the ball over? Because if he doesn't, that defense tends to get him to leads. And Green Bay starting to really overcome that just bad first game of the year, because that's all it was one bad game at the start of the year that's holding them down. They're starting to really trend upward. Then you have, coming in at number 6, just missing the top 5, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, Brady's for real. Yeah, that offense is for real. But that defense needs to start getting healthy so that they can start improving if this team wants to break into the top 5 with the teams that are there. Because you're talking, at 5, the Baltimore Ravens coming in with a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense. And let's be honest, Lamar Jackson trying to win an MVP, although he has challenged from a couple guys higher up on this list, including at number 4, the Dallas Cowboys, packing the best offense in the league. Not that great of a defense in terms of points, but they get a lot of turnovers, which is what is helping them in all sorts of things. It's just that turnover margin help. And you have at number 3, your Los Angeles Rams, a top 10 unit on both offense and defense and really good at controlling the ball. So they just make it up there because really a consistent team. At number 2, you have a team that has 2 losses, so maybe you could say maybe they should be a little lower, but this is a team that has the second highest scoring offense, the top scoring defense, and the best turnover margin in football still. So Buffalo's coming in on your index at number 2. And at number 1, retaking that spot from the Bills, is the only undefeated team. You're seeing them play here. The Arizona Cardinals, a top 5 offense, the number 2 defense, second best in the league in turnover margin. And let's just be honest, in terms of points against expected, they're the best team. They score more than the opponent allows, and they allow less than the opponent normally scores. This team is looking good. They've done it defensively. They've done it offensively, and that's what you want to see from a team is if one unit struggles, can the other pick it up? And to this point, that has been your Arizona Cardinals, which is why They're coming in at your number 1 spot this week. So that's your Donk Nation Power Index. But I promised you, I would get Gingy, I would get Laskers to do some homework. I went through the teams quicker this week because I wanted to get here. Let's go. Gingy's first top 10. Let's start at number 10. He says it's the Tennessee Titans. But wait, we're even better. He decided, no. Number 10 is just TJ Watt because right now it seems TJ Watt is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Gingy's saying that guy alone should be in the 10th place by himself. So, gotta give a shout out there because that's what Gingy wanted. At number 9, he has the Chiefs. I know they're a 3-3 team, but Gingy really believes in the potential and Patty Mahomes. He doesn't think Patty Mahomes is going to keep turning the ball over because he has more interceptions right now than he had all of last year. So, hoping for him to get back. 8, we have the Chargers. 7, we got the Packers. 6, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Now let's get to Laskers, 10 through 6. We have the Chargers coming in number 10 for Laskers. Cincy coming in at number 9. I like moving the Bengals up there. Tennessee coming in at number 8. Buffalo, the only person to have Buffalo out the top 5, had them at 7. And Green Bay up in the 6th spot. Now for some comparison. Here we go. We have the Gingy number 5 Buffalo Bills, the Laskers number 5 LA Rams. Can't really argue with the position there. LA Rams, by the way, one of 3 teams to make the top 5 on both lists. And you'll see this here because Gingy has the Rams at number 4. Laskers has the Buccaneers at number 4. Next up, we have another team that made both lists. We have Baltimore for Gingy at number 3. Dallas for Laskers at number 3. You can't argue there. All these teams are really good teams. And Laskers actually has Baltimore at number 2, as you're going to see, while Gingy has Tampa Bay at number 2. But Tampa Bay did not make the Donk Index, just missed it at number 6. And then the only unanimous team in a position is your Arizona Cardinals, and everyone having them at number 1, which, how can you argue? That team is number 1. That team is the best team in football right now. Unless something changes, you gotta just give it to them. I mean, even I think their Watt had a strip sack this week, just like the Steelers' Watt, which is good to see. Now, I know, you're like, well, why don't you do, like, a ranking, Donkey, where your top 10s are rated out, and then the Donk Nation top 10 is the power index added to Gingy's and Laskers. I was going to do that. I kind of ran out of time. I will do it next week. The bigger problem is I got to figure out how I judge a team that one area doesn't have in the top 10. And then I will give you the Donk Nation, not Power Index, but the Donk Nation Power Rankings, because it will have Donkey's Power Index, Gingy's Power Ranking, Lasker's Power Ranking, and if Donk Nation, if you guys want to send me your Power Rankings, I'll put those in, and it'll be like a 4-way column. It'll have the index versus the Donk Nation Community Rankings versus Laskers versus Gingy, and we will get the unanimous Donk Nation Power Ranking Top 10. Hopefully that comes to you next week. Hopefully I lived up the hype enough, and hopefully I don't have to give any shout-outs because this is just a power ranking show and I don't do that. But I do want to say, anyone who watched the Steelers game last week, the good news is that, I can't remember his name, the guy who got hurt for Seattle looked like it could be super bad. I heard he's moving everything and he might even play this week, so that's good to see. You never want to see anyone get hurt like that. But Donk Nation, thank you for tuning in. Steelers Nation, thank you for tuning in. It's time to wave them if you got them. I'd say here we go Steelers, but it's a bye week, so we ain't doing anything.